I talk to my cells, and they listen. I whisper, I love you, and my body heals. Most people talk to their bodies with anger, fear, or shame, and then wonder why they are sick. But when you speak love, you awaken the miracle that has been waiting inside you all along. In this time together, I will show you how to speak to your body in a way that brings healing, peace, and renewal. You will learn how every word you say creates your health. You will see why love is the most powerful medicine there is. And most of all, you will discover that you are not powerless. Your body responds to you because you are the master of your own thoughts. I know what it feels like to live in fear of your body. I once believed I was broken, that illness was stronger than me, and like so many people, I spoke to myself with criticism and anger. But the truth is, our bodies are not our enemies. They are listening every moment to the words we speak and the thoughts we think. This is why so many people remain trapped in cycles of pain, because no one ever taught us the language of love. Yet when we learn to change our words, when we begin to say, I love you, instead of, I hate you, miracles unfold. In this video, I will guide you through the exact steps I use to heal my own body and transform my life. We will talk about how your thoughts shape your health, how to forgive and release the past, and how to create affirmations that truly work. I will show you simple practices like mirror work that can bring you closer to yourself than ever before. And I will open the door to something most people never even imagine, that you can talk to your blood, your bones, your very cells, and they will respond with healing. Stay with me, because later I will share a practice so simple yet so powerful it can shift your health the very moment you try it. And I promise, if you are willing to open your heart, you will never look at your body the same way again. Here's something most people completely miss. Your body is listening to you every moment of every day. Not sometimes, not only when you feel good, always. Every single thought you think, every word you whisper in the silence of your mind, every sigh of disappointment or burst of joy, it all registers in your body. Your cells are not dumb pieces of matter. They are alive, conscious, and attentive. They are like children with wide eyes, watching and listening, waiting to hear from you. And just like children, they believe you. They don't argue back. They don't say that's not true. They simply receive your words as instruction. When I first discovered this truth, it startled me. I had lived through years of self-criticism, years of telling myself I wasn't good enough, years of believing my body had betrayed me. And when cancer came into my life, I could have fallen into despair, as so many people do. But something in me whispered, Louise, stop, look deeper. What have you been saying to your body all these years? And I realized with painful honesty that my body wasn't my enemy. My body was my loyal servant, repeating back to me the story I had been telling it, stories of resentment, stories of anger, stories of shame. And when I changed my story, when I changed my words, my body listened, it healed, because I gave it a new script. Think of it this way. If you speak harshly to a little child, telling them they're clumsy, ugly, stupid, that child may survive, but inside they wither. They grow fearful, tense, guarded. Now picture that same child being told, you're beautiful, you're capable, I love you. See how the shoulders relax, how the eyes shine, how joy rises in their heart. Your body is that child. Every organ, every muscle, every drop of blood is listening for your tone, your words, your love. If you scold it, it contracts. If you love it, it expands. Let me give you another picture, one you won't forget. Imagine your body as a faithful dog at your feet, tail wagging, eyes full of trust. If you strike it, it cowers, but it still stays near you. If you call it names, it trembles, but it still waits for your command. And if you reach down, stroke its head and say, good dog, I love you, that animal lights up with joy, ready to give you everything it has. Your body is exactly that faithful, exactly that responsive, exactly that loyal. It waits for you to speak with kindness so it can shine for you again. So I ask you right now, what have you been saying to your body lately? Do you groan in the morning, "I'm so tired, I look terrible, I can't stand myself"? Do you glare at the mirror and declare, "I hate this stomach, these wrinkles, these thighs"? Or can you wake up and whisper, "Good morning, dear body. Thank you for carrying me into this new day. I love you just as you are"? Because whether you realize it or not, those words are shaping your chemistry, your energy, your very health. They are either planting seeds of sickness or seeds of healing. The moment you understand this, you step out of helplessness and into power. You no longer see yourself as a victim of random illness or cruel fate. You begin to see yourself as the loving communicator and your body as the faithful listener. And from this day on, every word you speak becomes a choice. Will I speak pain or will I speak healing? Will I speak fear or will I speak love? Your body is listening. The choice is yours. What I'm about to share might seem almost too simple, yet it is the very key that unlocks the door to healing. Criticism weakens, kindness strengthens. I want you to let those words sink in deeply. For most of our lives, we have been trained to criticize ourselves, as if tearing ourselves down will somehow build us up. We were told that being hard on ourselves was the path to improvement, that self-criticism would keep us in line, that nagging our own bodies would force them into shape. But in truth, no being on this planet, no child, no animal, no flower ever blossoms under criticism. Just as a rose bush will not bloom if you scold it and step on its roots, your body will not heal when you attack it with words of hatred. What makes the rose open its petals is sunlight, water, and tenderness. What makes your body open to health is kindness, love, and appreciation. I saw this countless times in my workshops. I would ask people to write down everything they disliked about themselves. The pens would fly, the lists would grow long, the words would pour out fat, ugly, stupid, lazy, weak, worthless. They could fill a page in minutes with all the ways they thought they were wrong. But when I asked the very same people to write what they loved about themselves, the room grew quiet, faces turned downward. Some could not think of even one kind word. Others managed a small note, "My hair on a good day," or sometimes "I'm a good friend," but their voices shook as they said it. Do you see? We are fluent in the language of criticism, but almost mute in the language of kindness. And yet, kindness is the only language our bodies truly understand. I remember a woman who came to me after years of illness. She had called herself names in the mirror every morning for decades. She thought that by punishing herself she would change, but all she created was pain and resentment. When I asked her to look into her own eyes and say just one kind thing, she began to cry. The words "I love you" were too heavy to speak, but finally she whispered, "I'm willing to try." That was enough. That tiny opening, that small act of kindness, began to change her life. Within months, her health improved, her spirit lifted, and she discovered a joy she had not felt since childhood. Not because she found a miracle pill, but because she changed the words she gave her body. Think of yourself as a gardener of your own inner world. If you plant seeds of criticism, you will grow weeds of pain. If you plant seeds of kindness, you will grow flowers of health. You cannot plant thorns and expect roses to bloom. Your body's the soil, your thoughts are the seeds, and your words are the water and sunlight. What you give it, it will return to you. So why give it poison when you can give it love? And let me be clear, replacing criticism with kindness does not mean ignoring your desires for change. It does not mean you stop caring about your health or your growth. It means you approach these desires with love instead of attack. Instead of saying, I hate this belly, I must starve myself, you say, dear body, thank you for carrying me. I am ready to nurture you with food that helps you feel alive. Instead of saying, I'm so lazy, I'll never get it right, you say, I'm learning to listen to what I need, and I am taking gentle steps each day. The goal is not perfection, the goal is love. And from love, real change becomes possible. So the next time you catch yourself criticizing, pause, take a breath, and replace the harsh word with a kind one. Say to yourself, I am willing to love and approve of myself. I am willing to speak gently to my body. I am willing to grow in kindness, because every time you do, you send a wave of healing energy through your cells. And your body, which has been waiting so patiently, responds with relief, with gratitude, with vitality. This next part changed everything for me, and it can change everything for you too. It is one thing to understand that the body listens. It is another to soften our criticism into kindness. But it is something altogether more profound when we learn to actually speak to ourselves with love. I want you to imagine right now that every organ in your body, every bone, every beat of your heart, every drop of blood moving through your veins is a living audience, attentive and waiting. Your body is not an unconscious lump. It is a living temple of trillions of cells, and each one has its own intelligence, its own ear for your voice, its own capacity to respond. When you say, I love you, your cells light up with recognition. When you say thank you, your cells soften and begin to restore balance. When you say, I forgive you, your cells release stored pain and begin to flow again. I practiced this in my own healing. When I was told I had cancer, I could have flooded my body with fear. But instead, I closed my eyes and I began to speak to my cells as if they were little children in need of comfort. I said, it's all right. I love you. Thank you for doing your best. You are safe now. I imagined them relaxing, breathing, letting go of years of resentment that had crystallized into illness. And slowly, they began to respond. My healing did not come from battling my body. It came from befriending it, from loving it as I had never loved it before. Think of how you would speak to a baby in your arms. Would you say, you are ugly, you are worthless, you'll never be enough? Of course not. You would hold that baby close. You would whisper words of tenderness. You would let love flow from your eyes into theirs. Your cells are that baby. They long to be loved. They thrive when they are loved. They blossom when they are loved. And if you have spent years neglecting them, or worse, attacking them with criticism, the good news is that they are always ready to forgive, always ready to listen, always ready to respond the moment you begin to speak differently. I remember a student who came to one of my workshops with chronic pain. She said, Louise, I've tried everything, medication, surgery, therapy, and nothing works. I asked her, have you ever spoken directly to your pain with love? She laughed at first, but then she tried. She placed her hand on her aching hip, closed her eyes, and said, darling hip, I love you, I am listening, I want to understand. She wept as she spoke because for the first time she was not fighting her body but loving it. Within weeks her pain began to ease, and within months she was walking more freely than she had in years. It wasn't magic, it was love. I want you to try this now, wherever you are. Place your hand on a part of your body, your heart, your belly, your shoulder, and whisper, I love you. At first, it may feel silly. Your mind may argue, this is nonsense, it won't work. But keep going. Say it again. I love you. Thank you for carrying me. Thank you for doing your best. Feel the warmth of your hand. Feel the vibration of your voice. And know that deep inside, your cells are listening. They are soaking up every word. They are reorganizing around the new message. They are responding with life. This is not about pretending that pain does not exist or denying that illness is real. It is about giving your body the one medicine it has been starved of for so long: love. Love is the balm that softens tension. Love is the spark that ignites healing. Love is the language your cells understand. And when you speak it fluently, when you repeat it daily, when you choose it over fear and criticism, you begin to live in a body that feels like a friend again. So let this be the beginning. From now on, don't just think about your body. Don't just look at it in the mirror with judgment. Talk to it. Speak love into it. Let every heartbeat be an invitation to say, I love you. And as you do, notice how your energy changes. Notice how your breath deepens. Notice how your life begins to soften. Because your body has always been waiting for your love, and the moment you offer it, miracles begin. Here's something most people never stop to consider. Every word we speak is an affirmation. Every sentence that leaves our lips, every thought we repeat silently in our mind, is an affirmation that tells life what we believe and what we are willing to experience. Most people think affirmations are only the positive little sentences we practice in the mirror, but the truth is, all day long we are affirming something. When you say, I'm always late, that is an affirmation. When you sigh, I'll never get better, that is an affirmation. When you murmur, I'm so tired, or I'm so unlucky, or nothing ever works out for me, those are affirmations too. And your subconscious mind, which is always open, always receptive, accepts those words and begins to shape your body, your chemistry, your experiences around them. The tragedy is that so many people are affirming what they do not want, and then they are surprised when life gives them exactly that. But when we become aware, truly aware, that our words are powerful, we gain the ability to choose them on purpose. This is where healing begins. Instead of saying, I hate my body, I say, I love and approve of myself. Instead of saying, I'm so afraid, I say, I am safe, all is well. Instead of saying, nothing ever changes, I say, every day I am open to healing and renewal. Do you feel the difference? The first set of words weighs you down. The second set lifts you up. The first creates tension in the body. The second creates relaxation. The first plants seeds of disease. The second plants seeds of health. Words are not just sounds in the air. They are instructions to the universe, commands to your cells, blueprints for your future. When I was healing my own body, I began to notice the way I spoke to myself. I caught the casual little criticisms, the unconscious words of fear, the old scripts I had inherited from childhood, and instead of letting them pass by unnoticed, I stopped them and I chose new words. I am safe, all is well became my anchor. Whenever fear rose, I repeated it. Whenever doubt whispered, I repeated it. Whenever old resentment bubbled up, I repeated it. And slowly, like a river wearing away stone, those new words carved a new path in my mind and in my body. I began to feel calmer, I began to feel stronger, and my body began to respond with healing. Think of affirmations as seeds. The mind is the soil, your daily repetition is the watering, and your emotions are the sunshine that makes them grow. If you plant seeds of fear, you grow weeds of illness. If you plant seeds of love, you grow gardens of health. And just as a gardener does not plant one seed today and expect a harvest tomorrow, you must be patient with your affirmations. You must tend them daily, water them with faith, shine light on them with love, and trust that beneath the surface, life is doing its work. Even if you don't see results right away, something is shifting, something is growing, something is taking root. Let me share a story from a woman who came to me after years of struggling with anxiety. She told me, Louise, I've tried everything, but my mind just won't stop racing. I asked her, what do you say to yourself all day long? She thought for a moment and then laughed. I say, I'm so anxious, I'm so anxious, I'm so anxious. There was her affirmation. so I invited her to replace those words with, I am calm and centered. At first she resisted, but that isn't true, she said. I reminded her, it doesn't have to be true yet. It is the seed you are planting. If you repeat it enough, if you nurture it enough, one day it will be the truth of your experience. She began to practice every morning, every night, every time anxiety arose. And over the weeks, something softened. The racing thoughts slowed. The tension eased. She began to feel a peace she had never known before. Not because the world changed, but because her words changed, and her body and mind followed. So let me ask you, what words are you choosing today? Are they words of fear or words of faith? Are they words of criticism or words of love? You always have the power to stop, to notice, to choose differently. You can pause right now and say, I am safe, I am loved, I am healing, all is well in my world. And as you do, feel the shift in your body. Feel how your shoulders relax, how your breath deepens, how your heart softens. That is the power of choosing words that heal. What I want to share with you now is how to take affirmations out of the realm of theory and weave them gently, consistently, and lovingly into the fabric of your everyday life. Because it is one thing to say an affirmation once or twice when you're in the mood, and it is quite another to create a daily ritual, a sacred rhythm, where your words of healing become as natural as brushing your teeth or drinking a glass of water. Most people underestimate the power of simple repetition. They think they must do something dramatic or complicated to see results. But the truth is, it is the small daily practices done with sincerity and love that reshape the mind and reprogram the body. It is not the intensity of one moment of affirmation that brings change. It is the steady dripping of kind words day after day that carves a new riverbed in your consciousness. When you first wake in the morning, before your mind has had a chance to run back to yesterday's worries or tomorrow's fears, you are in the perfect state to plant new seeds. Your subconscious is soft and open, like freshly turned soil. This is the moment to affirm, today I choose love. Today I am safe. Today my body and I work in harmony. Say it out loud if you can, or whisper it in your heart if you cannot. Place your hand on your heart, or look into your eyes in the mirror, and speak gently to yourself as you would to a beloved friend. These first few moments after waking set the tone for the whole day. If you begin with criticism, the day bends under the weight. If you begin with love, the day opens like a flower in the Sunday. And then again, before you sleep at night, when your mind is preparing to slip into dreams, you have another golden opportunity. Instead of replaying the day's mistakes, instead of carrying regrets into your sleep, choose to lay your head down with words of comfort. Say, I did my best today, and that is enough. I forgive myself and others. I am safe, I am loved, and my body is restoring itself beautifully as I rest. When you do this, you invite your subconscious to work on your behalf while you sleep. You allow your body to repair itself in an atmosphere of peace rather than stress. Many of my students have told me that this simple bedtime ritual gave them deeper sleep than they had known in years. But affirmations are not limited to morning and night. You can sprinkle them throughout your day like drops of clear water on a thirsty plant. Write them on sticky notes and place them on your mirror, your refrigerator, your computer screen. Carry affirmation cards in your purse or pocket and pull them out when you need encouragement. Set reminders on your phone that flash across the screen with words like, I am loved, I am safe, all is well. Each time you see these words, take a breath, let them sink in, and notice how they shift your energy. Affirmations are not just spoken, they are lived, they are seen, they are felt, they are reminders that surround you until they become the atmosphere of your life. One of my dear friends and colleagues, Cheryl Richardson, once shared with me how she wrote affirmations daily in her journal. Every morning she would fill pages with loving statements. I am worthy of love. I am open to abundance. I trust the flow of life. At first she felt resistance. Her old beliefs argued back. But over time, the repetition softened those old voices, and new truths took root. This is what I want you to know. You don't have to believe an affirmation fully when you start. You only have to be willing to practice it. The belief comes with repetition. The body learns, the subconscious accepts, the cells respond, and sometimes creating a ritual means linking affirmations to ordinary habits. For example, every time you wash your hands, you can say, I am releasing what no longer serves me. Every time you drink a glass of water, you can whisper, I am filling myself with life. Every time you open a door, you can think, I am stepping into new possibilities. In this way, the ordinary moments of life become extraordinary. They become constant reminders that you are creating healing with your words. The truth is, affirmations work best not when they are treated as chores, but when they are treated as sacred love notes to yourself. So find ways to make them beautiful, write them in colorful pens, sing them to yourself in the shower, say them to your reflection with a smile, share them aloud with a trusted friend. The more joy you bring to them, the more your body and mind will open to receive them. And as you make affirmations a daily ritual, you will notice subtle changes. At first, perhaps you feel calmer, perhaps your breath deepens, perhaps you catch yourself smiling for no reason. And then, with time, those small changes blossom into larger ones. Your health improves, your energy lifts, your relationships soften, your life takes on a new light. So I invite you to commit, not with pressure or guilt, but with love, to creating these simple rituals, morning, night, and throughout the day. Give yourself the gift of healing words. Because every affirmation is a thread, and when you weave enough of them together, you create a tapestry of love strong enough to hold your entire life. Now I want to talk to you about something that almost everyone experiences when they begin practicing affirmations, and it is the very reason so many people give up before they ever taste the fruit of this work. It is the feeling of resistance. You stand before the mirror and say, I love you, and immediately a voice inside says, no, you don't. You whisper, I am healthy, whole, and strong, and another voice sneers, that's a lie. You write, I am worthy of love and abundance, and your mind throws up every memory of rejection, every wound, every mistake to prove you wrong. And in that moment, you may feel foolish, you may feel defeated, you may think affirmations don't work. But I am here to tell you that this resistance is not proof that affirmations are false. It is proof that they are working. It is proof that you are stirring the pot, waking up the old beliefs, rattling the cage of the subconscious mind that has been holding on to pain and limitation for years. I often say to my students, when you plant a new seed in the ground, the soil has to move. There is a little disturbance, a little disruption, as the earth makes room for the seed to grow. The same is true when you plant new words in your mind. The resistance you feel is simply the old soil shifting, the outdated beliefs trying to cling to their place. It is not a sign to stop, it is a sign to keep going. Because if you persist through the discomfort, if you keep repeating the new truth with gentleness and patience, the old voices lose their power and the new seed begins to sprout. When I was healing my own body, I faced this resistance too. Every time I said, I am safe, all is well, another voice rose up, no, you're not. Look at what's happening. Every time I said, I love and approve of myself, an echo from childhood whispered, you're not good enough. But instead of arguing, instead of fighting, I learned to acknowledge the voice with compassion. I would say, thank you for sharing, but I am choosing something new. And then I would repeat my affirmation again, like a mother soothing a frightened child. With time, the frightened child inside me began to trust. The voice of fear grew quieter, and the voice of love grew stronger. I remember a man who came to one of my workshops and told me, "Louise, I tried affirmations, but they just made me cry." I smiled and said, "Good. That means they touch something deep inside you that is ready to be healed. Let the tears come." Don't stop, because tears are not a failure, they are a release. Laughter, too, is not resistance, but release. Some people laugh when they say affirmations because it feels so foreign, so different, so opposite of what they have believed. But whether you cry or laugh or feel uncomfortable, it all means the same thing. You are breaking up the old ground so the new truth can be planted. So let me reassure you, you don't have to believe your affirmation fully in order for it to work. You only have to be willing to say it. Willingness is enough. Repetition will do the rest. The subconscious does not distinguish between truth and falsehood. It only knows repetition. If you repeat something long enough, it accepts it. This is how you learned all the negative beliefs about yourself in the first place. You heard them again and again from parents, teachers, society, until they became your truth. Now you are simply using the same principle, but this time with words that heal instead of words that harm. When resistance comes, don't give up. Smile at it. Say to yourself, "Ah, here is my old belief showing its face. Thank you for revealing yourself, but I am choosing love now." And then continue with your affirmation. Each time you do, you weaken the old pattern and strengthen the new. Each time you persist, you are teaching your mind, your body, and your soul that love is stronger than fear, that truth is stronger than lies, that healing is stronger than pain. And one day, without even noticing when it happened, you will speak an affirmation and realize that you believe it. The words will no longer feel foreign. They will feel like home. You will say, "I love and approve of myself," and your whole being will nod in agreement. You will say, "I am safe, all is well," and your whole body will relax into it as if it always knew. That is the reward of moving through resistance. That is the gift waiting for you on the other side of persistence. So when the doubts arise, when the old voices argue, remember this: they are the dying echoes of a belief system that no longer serves you. Let them fade. Keep affirming. Keep choosing love. Because your cells are listening, your body is responding, and your life is waiting to blossom into something far greater than you have yet imagined. Here's something I learned the hard way, and it is something most people never want to face. Resentment is poison. Not a metaphorical poison, not just a bad attitude, but an actual toxic force that seeps into the body, hardens in the tissues, weighs down the heart, and eventually shows up as pain, illness, and dis-ease. I discovered this truth in my own life when I was diagnosed with cancer, and at first I was shocked. I wanted to blame my body. I wanted to believe I was simply unlucky, but deep inside, I knew there was something more. When I began to look honestly at myself, I saw the layers of resentment I had been carrying for years, the anger at a childhood filled with abuse, the bitterness toward those who had hurt me, the unforgiveness toward myself for not knowing how to change sooner. I had been holding those memories close, like old photographs, replaying them again and again in my mind, each time feeding the same old story of pain. And my body, ever faithful, ever listening, had taken those resentful thoughts as instructions and turned them into a physical condition. My cancer was not a punishment, it was a wake-up call. It was my body saying, "Louise, you cannot go on like this. You must release, you must forgive." Think about the nature of resentment. It is like drinking a glass of poison and hoping it will kill the other person. You hold the bitterness, you rehearse the injury, you replay the words that hurt you, and while the other person may be off living their life, perhaps not even remembering what they said or did, you are the one growing sick from the inside. Your body tenses every time you think of them. Your stomach knots, your shoulders tighten, your breath shortens. Those reactions are not temporary, they are imprint. They accumulate day after day, year after year, until the body simply cannot carry the weight anymore. Then illness appears not as an enemy, but as a message, a mirror showing you the hidden cost of resentment. I remember one client who came to me with constant back pain. She had tried everything, massage, medication, even surgery, but nothing brought lasting relief. As we talked, she revealed the anger she had been carrying toward her ex-husband for over 20 years. Every day she replayed the betrayal in her mind. Every day she cursed his name. Every day she fueled the fire of resentment. And all the while, her body bent under the load of unspoken anger. I guided her gently toward the idea of forgiveness, not for him, but for herself. At first, she resisted. "He doesn't deserve it," she shouted. And I said, "You are right. He may not deserve it. But you do. You deserve peace. You deserve to put this burden down." Slowly, she began to practice letting go, saying, "I release you. I set myself free." And as she did, her back pain eased. The relief she could not find in medicine, she found in forgiveness. Resentment is like carrying a heavy bag of rocks everywhere you go. At first, you think you are strong enough, you can manage it, it's just part of life. But after years, the bag becomes unbearable. You forget what it feels like to walk lightly. You forget what it feels like to breathe deeply. You forget what it feels like to be free. And yet, at any moment, you can put the bag down. At any moment, you can say, "Enough, I release this. I will not carry it one step further." That is the power of forgiveness. It is not about denying the hurt. It is not about pretending the wrong never happened. It is about choosing not to let the past steal your present and your future. It is about healing yourself, not excusing another. And here is what I want you to know. You cannot afford the luxury of resentment. Your body is too precious, your life is too valuable, your health is too important. Every time you rehearse anger, every time you repeat bitterness, you are spending your life energy in the most destructive way. But every time you release, every time you forgive, every time you soften your grip on the old story, you return that energy to yourself. You create space for healing, for love, for joy to flow in again. So I ask you gently, what resentment are you still carrying? Whose name makes your stomach twist? Whose face tightens your jaw? Whose memory keeps you awake at night? Notice the cost. Feel how your body reacts, and then consider, just consider, the possibility of letting it go, not for them, but for you. Because until you do, resentment will continue to exact its price, silently but surely. And the moment you release it, you will feel lighter, freer, more alive than you have in years. That is the hidden cost of resentment, and that is why forgiveness is not optional if you truly want to heal. What I am about to share with you now is not theory, it is not philosophy, it is not a lofty ideal floating somewhere above your daily life. It is a practice, a living, breathing choice you can make every day, and it is the practice of letting go. Forgiveness sounds beautiful when we speak of it in general terms, but when we hold the face of someone who hurt us in our mind, when we remember the words they said, the betrayal they caused, the wound they left, suddenly forgiveness feels impossible. The heart tightens, the jaw clenches, and the mind insists, "I cannot forgive them. They don't deserve it." And perhaps you are right, they may not deserve it. But forgiveness is not about them. It is about you. It is about freeing yourself from the prison of your own resentment. It is about setting down the heavy burden you have carried so long that you forgot what it feels like to walk lightly. So how do we do it? How do we take forgiveness from a noble concept to a lived experience? We begin with willingness. That is always the first step. You may not feel ready to forgive, you may not even know how, but if you can say, I am willing to forgive, I am willing to learn how to let go, then you have opened a crack in the wall. And where there is a crack, light can enter. From there, you can begin small practices. One of the most powerful is writing a letter that you never send. Pour your feelings onto the page, every hurt, every anger, every word you never spoke. Let the poison drain out through the ink. And then, when you are ready, write these words at the bottom. I release you. I set myself free. Tear the letter up, burn it if you wish, and as the ashes fall or the paper dissolves, feel the weight in your body begin to lift. Another practice I often recommend is to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and visualize the person you are resenting standing before you. At first, you may see them only as the one who hurt you, but I invite you to look deeper. See them as a frightened child who learned fear from those before them, who never knew how to love themselves, who acted from their own pain. This does not excuse their behavior, but it helps you see that their actions were born from ignorance, not from true power. And then, in your mind, say to them, I forgive you, I release you, I set myself free. At first, the words may catch in your throat. You may feel anger rise again. That is all right. Forgiveness is not always one great leap. It is often many small steps. Each time you pew from them is the belief that you do not deserve them. When I was healing my own life, I had to confront the deep belief that I was unworthy. It had been planted in me as a child, reinforced through years of abuse and criticism, and it had grown strong roots. But the moment I began to say, I am worthy of love, I am worthy of health, I am worthy of joy, I felt something shift inside me. At first, the words felt foreign, but with repetition, they began to sink in. My body heard them, my cells absorbed them, my spirit began to glow with them. And as I accepted my worthiness, life mirrored it back to me. I met people who supported me, opportunities opened, my body healed. The outer world responded to the inner truth I was reclaiming. I want you to picture your wholeness as a river. The river is always flowing, full of clear, fresh water, but if you build a dam of fear, of self-hatred, of guilt, you block the flow. The river does not stop existing. It is still there, still abundant, still ready to pour into your life, but your dam prevents it from reaching you. When you forgive yourself, when you speak kindly to yourself, when you affirm your worth, it is as if you are removing stones from that dam. Little by little, the river begins to flow again. And soon you realize it was never gone, it was never lost, it was always yours, waiting for you to allow it. That is what it means to claim your birthright of wholeness. I remember a client who told me, Louise, I've spent my whole life believing I had to prove myself to be worthy of love, and I am so tired. I looked at her and said, my dear, you were worthy the moment you were born, and you are worthy now. Nothing you do can add to or take away from that truth. When she let those words sink in, she wept, because she felt for the first time that the endless striving could end. She could rest in her own worth. And as she did, her life began to change, not because she became someone different, but because she remembered who she already was. So I invite you to say it with me now. I am whole, I am worthy, I deserve love, health, and joy. They are my birthright. Let those words echo in your heart. Let them travel to every cell in your body. Let them dissolve the old beliefs that told you otherwise. Because when you stand in your wholeness, when you accept your birthright, you align yourself with the infinite power of life itself, and from that place, miracles unfold naturally. As we come to the close of our time together, I want you to take a deep breath and allow everything we have explored to settle gently in your heart. We began with the simple but astonishing realization that your body is always listening, that every thought you think and every word you speak is a message to your cells, a script that your body faithfully enacts. We saw how criticism weakens and kindness strengthens, how every harsh word plants seeds of pain, while every word of love plants seeds of healing. We discovered the quiet but powerful practice of speaking directly to your body with tenderness, whispering to your heart, your blood, your bones, I love you, I thank you, I forgive you. And then we stepped into the garden of affirmations, learning how to choose words that heal, how to repeat them until they carve new pathways in the mind, how to keep going even when resistance arises. Because that resistance is not a wall, but a sign that old patterns are breaking apart. We walked through forgiveness, that most sacred medicine, and we saw how resentment poisons the body, how carrying anger is like carrying stones on our back, and how letting go is the greatest gift we can give ourselves. We practiced releasing through letters unsent, through visualizations of freedom, through the gentle declaration, I forgive you, I release you, I set myself free. We allowed forgiveness to move from the mind into the body, to feel the muscles soften, the breath deepen, the heart open, until we understood that forgiveness is not weakness, it is strength, it is freedom, it is medicine. We looked into the mirror and faced ourselves. At first, perhaps with resistance, perhaps with tears, perhaps with laughter, but always with the courage to stay. We learned how to begin gently with small words like I'm willing to try, until those small words grew into larger ones, until at last we could say with conviction, I love you. And in that mirror, we saw the truth, that the love we had longed for from others was waiting within us all along. And as we loved ourselves, we discovered that life itself loves us too. We stepped into the flow of infinite power and felt the warmth of those words, life loves me, filling our hearts with trust and ease. We practiced gratitude, giving thanks for breath, for light, for small blessings, and we saw how gratitude multiplies itself, how it shifts our vibration, how it opens the gates of abundance. Finally, we claimed our birthright of wholeness, remembering that we were never broken, never incomplete, that health, joy, and love are not rewards we must earn, but gifts that belong to us simply because we are alive. So now, my dear friend, I invite you to place your hand gently on your heart, close your eyes for a moment, and repeat after me. I love and approve of myself. My body is my friend. Every cell is responding with love. All is well in my world. Say it again and feel the truth of it taking root in your body. Feel your shoulders relax. Feel your breath deepen. Feel your cells listening, rejoicing, responding. This is the truth you were born to live. And before we part, I want to leave you with a doorway, a curiosity, a promise of what is still to come. If speaking to your body has the power to heal, imagine what happens when you learn to speak to your blood itself, your blood that carries life through every part of you, your blood that listens and responds with miraculous precision. In my next video, I will guide you into this practice, showing you how to send love directly into your bloodstream, how to awaken your body's deepest intelligence, and how to experience healing in ways you may never have thought possible. So do not stop here. Take the love you have found today, carry it with you, practice it daily, and then join me in the next step of this journey. Click here and come with me as we explore together the miraculous truth that your blood, your cells, your entire being are listening, and that when you speak with love, life itself answers back. Remember always, life loves you.